Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Deportation Defense Live. I'm so happy to be here with you. It is the 28th of November of 2023. We're after Thanksgiving week, and this is my first Deportation Defense Live episode after that holiday. And so welcome, and thank you all so much for joining our episode today of the Deportation Defense Live. Today, our topic is what would happen if Trump were to re-win the White House next November, 1 year from today. And so I want to discuss that with you. I don't really want to think about it because it would not be good, but I do want to discuss it because there's a lot of questions about it out there, and I want to be a resource for people so that people understand really what's at stake. All right? So thank you and welcome, and as we're going, if you have questions, please submit your questions. But first, and to get started, welcome to another episode of Deportation Defense Live. The Deportation Defense Live is where we train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants who are facing deportation to make the most out of immigration law, to make the most out of their lives, and to win their cases. And so that's what we are all about. We fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation in immigration court and otherwise. And so thank you for being here. And today our theme is what would happen if Trump were to win again the White House next year in 2024. And my question for you is, hey, are you eligible for something now? Right? Like, are you able to get a green card this year? Are you able to apply for citizenship this year? Are you able to, start a process to come out of the shadows this year? Because if so, go for it. All right, really, go for it. I would love to help you with it. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 cases in the next 10 years, and we would love for your case to be one of them. I don't care who the next president is. I want to fight for you. I'd love to do it sooner rather than later to get the show on the road, all right? There's no time like the present. So thank you for everyone who's here. Thank you also for everyone who has asked questions or who may have submitted any questions. If you have a question as I'm talking, please feel free to send it to me. I'd love to answer any question that you might have. And then right after doing this episode in English, we will do this conversation in Spanish as well. All right? So if you prefer Spanish, join us in about 30 minutes and we'll get started in Spanish. So before getting into the topic, I always like to start with a brief empowerment tip. And my empowerment tip today is to ask you a question. Like, what happens when you slow down in your life? Smile, bring more joy, bring more presence, more of you to the things that you're doing. And for me, Thanksgiving was last week. And for me, my kids have the week off. It allowed me to take a pause for a little bit, reconnect with members of my family, my brother, my sister, their children, my mother, my father. I don't get to connect with them very frequently, maybe once a year or so. I know many of our clients haven't seen their family in years. And so what happens when you slow down and connect with the people in your life? Sometimes sometimes the drive is like, how fast can everything go? And my challenge for each of us here today is, maybe success is not all the stuff you have and not how fast you can go, right? Maybe success is how much joy, how much presence, how much like actual attention and focus you can bring to what you do as you're going through your life to fully experience your life. just something to think about. That's my empowerment tip for today. Hope it's useful. Hope it's helpful. Maybe take a moment, slow down a little bit today, and enjoy some aspect that maybe you don't normally enjoy. Enjoy that conversation with a client. Enjoy that conversation, with someone in your family. Heck, it could change the quality of the day. All right, so now I want to get into the topic. And there's so much happening in the news. I personally do not like the news. I actually don't. I turn the news off. Okay, and Trump, who we're talking about today, is offensive. All right, he's in the news every day. He's dominating the Republican Party. He is very much against immigrants. He's very much against what I stand for. Okay. And so I want to talk today about what his reelection might mean for immigrants. And I just want to say what's going on. Now, he's facing criminal charges. He's facing civil lawsuits. Those are ongoing. They will be ongoing all year. All right. Politics in the world is a mess. All right. You may have seen that the truth is that Trump is just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. You know what I mean by that? Like, there are many people that support what he is saying, right? And not just in the United States. Okay, you may have seen recent elections, Argentina, in the Netherlands, right? In other countries in the world, Trump-supporting politicians are gaining traction and winning in other parts of the world. Okay? And so it's like anti-immigrant sentiments are gaining traction and winning politically in other parts of the world. And for me, that's disheartening. It's actually the reverse of the way society should be focusing on. Okay? Like, for me, immigrants are awesome. Immigrants actually bring value to societies, and societies should be welcoming them and not excluding them. But lots of people in lots of different countries feel threatened by immigrants. And man, what could we do to change that dialogue? All right? What could we do to change that? So anyway, there's a lot going on in the world. And I want to discuss Trump's policy, and again, it's not just his policy. It's DeSantis. It's the Republican stance more and more, and it's also the policy of more nationalistic campaigns throughout the world. And that policy, of course, is anti-immigrant. His first presidency made 472 changes to immigration law. And that's according to the Migration Policy Institute, right? You could look that up. But a lot, so many executive actions, so many new interim decisions made by attorney generals. And, that doesn't even scratch the surface of all the different judges that his administration appointed, and all of the policy changes that weren't actually like regulatory changes, but just like how to bring additional scrutiny to different immigration processes. Like, really, the changes were enormous. Okay? Trump ran on a campaign to deport millions of people, to build the wall between the U.S. and Mexico, to reduce legal immigration to the U.S. And practically speaking, his administration made it frightening and horrible, all right, to be an immigration lawyer and to be an immigrant. And each case became more challenging than necessary. And cases got rejected for no lawful reason. There was actually a lawsuit that basically found that. All right. Cases were put into deportation proceedings where it was later found not necessary. I know of people who were deported who under other administrations simply would not have been. And so those things are like, those have real and very serious impacts on the lives of people. And you can't, like, anyway, I can't close my eyes to those just like brutal truths, right? So what would his administration do if it were to win? Well, his first presidency wasn't super well organized. They did a lot of things that after lawsuits got filed, it was like, they tried to terminate TPS, but they didn't do it successfully because they didn't do it. They weren't organized about the way that they were doing it. And many other attempts that they tried to do that got challenged. So they would probably be more organized, and they probably wouldn't have their administration kind of suppressed, if you will, by another pandemic, at least hopefully, knock on wood there, right? I think the legacy of the last Trump administration would have been far worse had it not been for the pandemic, because it made them kind of refocus on how to address that situation, right? And so anyway, my best guess, 4 things. First, he would remove all of the Biden prosecutorial discretion memos that are in place and just start pursuing the deportation of all the people that are in immigration court proceedings, regardless of their specific situation. We saw that change from Obama to Trump when Trump first took office at his first administration, okay? Second thing, he would seek to reduce the number of green cards and visas that are approved each year, okay? Third, he would implement and start using E-Verify for almost all jobs, okay? Remember, E-Verify requires employers to confirm with the federal government a person's valid immigration status and social security number so that people can work basically every job. And that would have huge consequences, all right? Fourth thing that he would do, and we saw this before and we see this still, right? He blows things way out of proportion in the press and in the media, which creates it just raises everyone's emotions about political issues, using information that's completely inaccurate. And it's like he knows it, right? And it's just using it to raise emotions and get people riled up, and whether for him or against him, I think just to get attention to him, which is really damaging. The fifth thing is that he'll do whatever he can to reduce asylum seekers, okay? Under the first administration, he separated children from their parents at the border to reduce asylum seekers. He also created the Remain in Mexico program, right? It's like find any way he can to attack asylum law and to make asylum cases extremely difficult, all right? Number 6 is potentially more travel bans. You remember the Muslim travel ban that we saw in 2017? Like, in the name of national security, he will very likely issue additional travel bans. And number 7, pressure to deport more people. His administration put pressure on immigration judges to have more hearings, decide more cases, deport more people. 8, and lastly, I'll say he would undo all of the programs that have started under Biden, I believe. The Uniting for Ukraine, the Family Reunification Program for certain countries from Central America, the different parole processes that have been put in place. My belief is that if Trump were to win, he would just undo them, right? And so anyway, that's basically what I wanted to communicate. If you have questions, please submit your questions. I'm here. I'd love to answer any question that you have. And so what's the conclusion of all of this, right? It's like, first of all, if you're a U.S. citizen and if immigrants and immigration matters to you, like, please vote next year, right? If you're a U.S. citizen, please vote. Each vote will matter next year. Next year's election is going to be very divisive, all right? It's going to divide the country, unfortunately. But it's like, if you care about immigrants and if you value travel, if you value people and their right to work and their right to live and their right to be free, freedom, all right, then, it's like, please be mindful who you vote for. And my best advice if you're not a U.S. citizen is, if you're eligible for an immigration benefit, a visa, a green card, asylum, really, I recommend that there's no better time than the present. I recommend taking action now, not later. All right? Like, get a consult, explore your options, get your status taken care of so that you don't have to worry about immigration issues anymore. All right? Let's get you past, if there is an option, which under the law, many people don't have options, right? There's still 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States, and it's not their choice to be that way, right? And so, but if you do have an option, that, or if you want to know what options you have, like, let's get to the bottom of that. Let's have a consultation. Let's look through it. Let's strategize it, and let's fix this thing. Okay? That's basically all my presentation for today. And so thank you all so much. Okay, thank you for being here. And if there are questions, please let me know. I don't see that we've received any, which is fine. I see a lot of folks here on Instagram. Thank you all for being here. Sharif, hello, I see you. Great to see you. And Momtanant, hello, I see you. And Lupe Chong, hello. And P. Perez, hello. And Gagastikal, good to see you again. And Angel, great to see you. Saludos, hello to you. Everybody that's joining on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, like, hey, thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. My name is Otis Landerholm, and I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And so, if my office can help you in any way, please just give us a call. We would love to help you. And if this information was useful, hey, please subscribe to our channel in YouTube. When you do, please click the notifications bell, and you can receive a notification whenever we update or upload an additional video with updates, news, things of this nature. Okay? That's all I got, everybody. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate your being here. And we will see you on our next episode of Deportation Defense Live. All right? Remember, we have 2 shows weekly. Tuesdays at 10 is Deportation Defense Live. All right? Thursdays is the Empowered Immigrant Live, also at 10 a.m. Join us for both of those, or either of those, whichever you prefer. Tune into our podcast. Follow us on social media. I really appreciate each of you for all of that. Okay? Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you're having a great week. And we'll see you on our next episode. Take care.